Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Thanks for tuning in, much appreciated. And today I'm sort of going to respond to some of the subscriber requests that I've had regarding doing videos on the mental part of fishing. You know, I try to throw these in every once in a while, and every time I do that, they're not super well received. They usually don't get as many views as most of the other channels topics I do, but I get a lot of comments from the people that do watch them about, man, they really like the mental aspect of it and keep doing videos like that. So what I'm going to start doing is I'm going to start doing on Mondays. This is the first one. It's going to be the Mental Monday column here on intuitive angling. And I'm going to address some of the mental side of fishing, the mental topics. Now I know that maybe at some point these videos will get popular, but in the past they haven't been. But it seems like the people that watch them really appreciate the talking about the mental part of it, because it doesn't get talked about. And on this, when I start this series, this is going to be ongoing, and there's going to be a lot of in-depth stuff in there, and there's going to be a lot of stuff in there that you may not think directly ties to fishing. That's okay, because not everything has to tie to fishing. A lot of it is maybe sharing with you guys some stuff I've learned by fishing professionally for 35 years, and just some of the stuff that comes with the mental part that can not only help you out in your fishing, but maybe in some other parts of your life too. So first thing I want to talk about here in the Mental Monday is sort of talk about some foundational things. And the first thing I want to talk about is it's a combination. It's gratitude and awareness. And and like I said, a lot of this stuff that I talk about, you can apply it into different parts of your life. But awareness, guys, is it's one of the most important elements, if the not most important element, in bass fishing. There are so many things that awareness does for you on a high level that takes you to that next level in fishing. And a lot of people that even are really highly skilled anglers, they may practice this and not even really know that they're doing it. But I can assure you that most people that are successful in fishing, most people that are successful in a lot of different things in life, are highly aware people of their environment. And this is going to be a topic that goes on and on. You're going to hear me talk about awareness over and over, because it just can't be underestimated how important it is. I want to sort of give you some examples of what I'm talking about here. Most people are only aware as they've been taught to be aware. Awareness, for a large degree, it's sort of a lost art, and it's a lost art because we've lost our touch. We've lost our need to, and the ability to be in tune with the natural world around us. You know, for thousands of years ago, hundreds of thousands of years, long as man has been on this planet, the only way that we've survived and evolved as a species is through high awareness. If you weren't aware, if you weren't aware of your environment, 100,000 years ago, you may have gotten eaten by a cave bear or whatever. I mean, you couldn't simply survive. So it's only the people that were highly aware were able to survive. And that awareness, it goes into a lot of different areas, not just survival, but it goes into every aspect of your being. But what happens as we've evolved as a society and become, quote, civilized, over the last couple hundred years, I don't know if that's been a good thing or not, we've lost the need to have that heightened sense of awareness on a natural level. And for the most part, we've become oblivious to a lot of the things that are around us. And I'll give you a couple examples here. Let's take, for example, beach sand. If you guys have ever been to the beach, or if you've ever had sand in your hand at all, most people will pick up a handful of sand and just say, oh, it's just gray beach sand. What's the big deal? Next time you guys are on the beach, or if you're on some sand, around some sand, take a handful of beach sand. If you need reading glasses or magnifying glass, whatever, do it. Take a handful of beach sand and look at it. You can't believe what's in there when you see it. When your awareness is heightened to the fact to see what's in beach sand, you'll see bits and pieces of shell, bits and pieces of marine aquatic life. You'll see different colorations in the sand that look different gemstones, blues, yellows, almost every color of the rainbow will be in a handful of beach sand. There's so much going on in beach sand that it's not this big gray lump of sand. And a lot of people that are not aware of that, they miss out on stuff like this. And it's the same, it can be the same, you can apply that back to fishing on a real fundamental level. Say, for example, you hook a bass on a crankbait. How many people, they catch a bass, they unhook it, throw it back in. How many people are aware of the exact position that those hooks are in the mouth of that bass? Because what happens is if you look at the position and the angle that the hooks are in the mouth, that gives you a complete understanding of how the bass tracked and ambushed and actually struck that lure from the angle. So what that does is, if you're aware of the fact of the hook angle that was in your bass's mouth, that tells you where that strike occurred. That it tells you if that strike occurred from the bass coming down on top of it, coming from above, underneath it, or coming from either side. And that gives you a good indication of how those fish were positioned on structure. That's one tiny example. So it's the exercise in awareness is basically trying to open up your senses to everything that's around you. And it's exhausting. When you try to expand your awareness for your natural world or the world around you, it's something that's a constant exercise, because when you're, and I'll apply this back to the water here, but you can apply it to everything. It's like when you're working down a stretch of shoreline, when you're fishing, you could be flipping a jig, you could be throwing a spinnerbait, whatever. How many guys are aware of like the subtle rock transitions that go on the bank? The different types of rock, the areas that go from sand to mud. How many, if you guys see some crawdad holes in the mud on a bank, that the wildlife activity on the bank, the type of angle of the bank that is, the type of vegetation that's on the bank, any type of gradual, subtle clarity changes. Sometimes the water clarity may be different 2 foot away from the bank than it is 5 feet away from the bank. There's a constant, it's just a never-ending menu of variables out there as far as for you to be aware of. And the more that you are aware of everything that's else in your environment, every time that you catch a fish, every time that you put a fish in the boat, that awareness of how that strike came, or where that fish was, helps lead you to the next fish a lot quicker than if you were just oblivious to it. And that's why excuse me, that's why when I'm in a boat in a tournament situation, I don't like to talk. I mean, I get a lot of these co-anglers out there that are talkers, and they just want to talk, but you cannot be aware and have your mind off in a conversation somewhere. So that's why when I'm competing in a tournament, I don't want to talk. I don't want to be talked to unless it's just basic, necessity to do so. And yeah, I know some people, if they got a 30-pound limit in the boat, they're going to be chatty. That's our nature to do that. But most of the time, if you're focused in the moment and your awareness is at a super high level, that's where you need to put that focus on. So the point of it is, and this is just like a real basic deal, the exercise that I want to leave you guys with here is just, the next time you're on the water, make a conscious effort to expand the awareness for everything that's going on around you. It doesn't make any difference how you're launching, if you're launching your boat, the cast you're making, like I said, how the bass are striking, different changes in the weather. There's always something that you can be aware of. And the more aware of everything that you are and around you, the more it's going to help you out to become a better angler, just a more efficient, better person all the way around. So what are you doing there? Huh?
I have a strawberry.
You got a strawberry? Okay, I'm about done here. Say bye. Okay. So anyway, that's today's Mental Monday tip, guys. Like I said, I'm really excited about doing this series because we got so much to talk about. It's a never-ending deal. This is just a real, not even scratching the surface here today. You'll hear me talk a lot more about awareness. amongst lots of other topics. But I just wanted to throw that out there to get started. Again, thanks for tuning in, much appreciated. And if you guys like this Middle Monday deal, please share the video with your friends and everything. Get it out there, and maybe we can get some more people interested in it. So talk to you later.